So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thank you so much for joining on the lovely weekend. I hope you all are doing well and you could hear me. So, today's webinar is about blockchain and disruption in the banking industry. Prasanna has been a CIO for one of the leading banks in India, and he has been driving blockchain from a long time. So it's going to be a good session to hear out from the man himself, and have more interactive Q&A on how banks are getting benefited with this technology, and what are the initiatives going on. And I can also understand that, I mean, a lot of you must be also excited about pursuing probably your careers in the blockchain space. So he could also give you some insights on how banks are hiring, what they're looking forward to, and all of that career related questions. So would be great, guys, to have this session more and more interactive, and you could just post your questions on the chat box, and then we could just take it up from there. Yeah, thanks. So, okay, so Prasanna, why don't you just first start with a quick introduction about yourself, and you have
Yeah, sure. So friends, my name is Prasanna Lohar. So I work in the bank, DCB Bank. I work there primarily as an innovation head and the architecture and the digital head. So I handle three portfolios in the bank. So primarily my role is around how to bring on innovation in the banking, right? Or innovation in my bank. And if I have some ideas or some ideas from some of the startups or internal from my employees also, so another another responsibility for me to make it digital or make it implement that. And while doing that, take care of all the architecture, how this blockchain or AI or any of the new things are coming into and affecting my 180 plus system. There are around 180 plus systems in a bank, typically more than that. Right. So, say example, core banking we have, mobile banking, internet banking. So, what all applications which we are bringing? Say example, in internet banking, I am working one of the use case with the income tax department. Like this Form 15 GH, people have to go to the branches and fill up the paper-based form, and after that, those guys will reconcile that data entry and give it to their bank's head office. From there, this data goes to the income tax department. Similarly, it is happening everywhere in the bank. Now just imagine how much is the lag, how many errors, man in middle, right? So what we are working on, people will log in into internet banking, will fill up his form 15 GA details, and it is available for income tax department there and there. Apart from that, data is available for other banks also there and there. Right? So this guy has done this form 50 GH from these banks. So it's an immediate availability. That one of the use case I'm working on. So how do I really see this change of this new blockchain change? How will add up in my existing architecture? So that's another role which I take care of that. So say as a part of this role, say in banking, I can start any of the blockchain use case, right? So like I can start something in cross border, I can start in something in trade finance, and typically I'll be able to implement that also technically. But as an adoption, are these guys, right? My business guys or my peer bankers are gonna absorb it, adopt it. That's a huge challenge is coming around that. The challenge is not around technology or implementation of something on a blockchain, speed or performance. Those days are gone. We used to talk about speed, we used to talk about performance or interoperability or security. Now the days are like mindset. How do I really change the mindset of my CTO and my business head who is governing trade finance, or my board member? Like this is something very important. Let's invest some crore rupees into that for a platform, and so that's the challenge currently, right? Why? Because the technology as nascent stage, we are not seen as a core banking which is evolved over a few years. I can always close my eyes and say Infosys is my core banking. Let's upgrade with the next level of financial. Here, there are a lot of permutation combinations. Why R3? Why not Hyperledger? Why Ethereum? Why not other Quorum? And these many things and these are not so familiar terminologies for those decision makers, board members or MDs or CEOs for most of the banks. I'm not saying my bank. In my bank, everybody knows what is in my blockchain. Even my development team, everybody knows why we are really working on blockchain. So coming back, mindset is a very, very big challenge for a banking industry to really surpass. I think some of the banks, say example, ICICI Bank, Yes Bank, or DCB Bank, or HDFC Bank, or Federal Bank, right? Federal Bank is done implementation of R3 recently last year for foreign remittance. ICICI Bank has done first use case in Indian banking along with the Emirates NBD for LC transaction, which they have done, right? Cross border. Yes Bank has done implementation of a complete supply chain for all they're starting with the Bajaj Electricals. They will keep on adding more partners into that. So complete supply chain or invoice discounting kind of a model they had implemented, right? So there are other banks like they're trying, right? They're want to be there, like IndusInd Bank or Bank of Baroda, being part of a consortium. They are gonna come up with a consortium called as a blockchain infrastructure company, right? BIC, like wherein to begin with, they will start with a trade finance. The way we have NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, which is for payments. So this company will be typically take care of blockchain kind of initiatives. So that's the one agenda. In banking, IDRPT is one of the RBI's arm, right? IDRPT takes care of all the, just like NPCI takes care of payments, IDRPT take care of education and some of the payment system like NEFT and RTGS. Now, what IDRPT is looking for, can we not create our own quorum? Can we not create our own R3, our own blockchain OS, which is for banking purpose? So typically what happens, friends, in banking, what has happened so far, I think some of you guys may be aware of DeFi, right? Decentralized finance. So under DeFi, there are around 200, 300 fintech companies or blockchain companies. They have their own network. They have their own set of customers, like who deposit money, who withdraw money or lend money, right? And with a better rate, and even whatever they are depositing money, they get interest out of it. Today, if you are carrying cash in your pocket, do you get interest? No, right? You put cash into your bank, then only you get interest. So DeFi is a phenomena wherein it is like as good as your cash or your money. You are putting into some of those DeFi-based startup companies, you get interest, and they are not regulated by any regulation, RBI or anything. So beauty about that is a really good, right? What is that? In current banking, what happens? Say, example, Prashant has gone to the nearest shopping mall, right? And to do the shopping, and he has swiped his debit card on a POS. Or Prashant is going to the ATM and taking out some money. Or Prashant is utilizing his card for some e-commerce transaction. So Prashant is doing this transaction from 3 means. Apart from that, Prashant can do UPI, IMPS, and so many things, right? So many things are available to do financial transactions. But for all these so many things, there is a server for that bank, like Prashant's bank, to accept that request. Then give that request to a trusted agency called Master Visa or somewhere, wherein this request will be trusted and given back to another bank. Let's say, example, Prashant is doing transaction on behalf of that Flipkart. Flipkart's bank has to receive that transaction, right? So Prashant's bank as well as a Flipkart's bank will come into picture, and both of them will talk with some agency called trusted agency like NPCI or Visa or MasterCard. And what happens in this whole transaction? Prashant swipes, Prashant ka to money nikal jata hai, right? But Flipkart get this money next day or next to next day. At times they get the money after 8 days or 7 days if there are some disputes, right? Or while doing this transaction, something goes wrong, internet goes wrong, right? Say, for example, what will happen? Money will go, and Prashant will keep on calling to the contact center. I had done this transaction, I have received, and it takes 7 to 8 days to recover that money. Say, example, Prashant had only 4,000 rupees in his account, and he wanted to do some fee payments, and he has done fee payment of 3,000 rupees, and his transaction got reversed, and he has not got money. What he will do? Such a mess, right? So that's how is our current banking, right? So typically, you may not have experienced these things, but typically like 3 to 4% transactions are issued in an overall banking. That's the one scenario. Another scenario in banking is that once the transaction is received by Flipkart, there is a process called settlement and reconciliation. What does it mean? It will take a transaction from Prashant's account, Prashant's bank, and that master visa settlement file, and Flipkart's acquiring switch file. So 3 files are reconciled on the next day. And when this transaction will be mapped or matched in all the 3 files, then only payment will be given back to the Flipkart. And say example, one of the file is missing Prashant's transaction record. What will happen? Again calls, again overheads, right? Why? Every department, say example, system, every department there are people involved. Now suppose in pandemic situation like COVID, people are not coming. What will happen? Flipkart will get money up. 10 days, 15 days, that was a payout for the merchants. You might be, it is easy for you, right? Payment, money has gone, but actual money received by merchant it's an overhead, it's an operational efforts. And what will happen post-COVID? Banks will look at some opportunity to enhance this whole process, right? Man in middle wala, can we not remove? Can we not do complete automation here, right? We don't want people in between. Is it possible? Technically, it is very much possible. But again, mindset. How can we start? Where do we start, right? Let's say example, if I have this model, complete model on Bitcoin kind of a framework. What happens in Bitcoin? Are there any servers involved apart from mining? No, right? Are there any databases are involved? Are there any man in middle involved? No, right? What happens? You send a transaction, somebody receives, no need of reconciliation, no need of settlement, everything happens seamlessly. But Bitcoin scale is quite low compared to banking scale. Bitcoin technology, but it is what does it mean? It will take, right? We have to just enhance our systems, right? Make it more smart with the adoption of a smart architecture, smart contract. And it's possible, technically possible. So I think it's a journey, right? It's an evaluation journey for banks to reach to that milestone. Right. So like this use case, like payments, like which I was talking about, where banks send money to foreign, right? As there are a lot of rules, right? FEMA guidelines. That is why it takes 3-4 days to receive money even through SWIFT. Even if the message is received through the SWIFT system, verification, calling that customer, whether to see beneficiary account is a actual account or not, lot of manpower is involved. So there are many examples. Even Prashant must be knowing cross-border payment happens immediately, right?
Yes.
And so this is another use case. Trade finance is another use case. Apart from that, there are many such use cases in banking, right? Wow, so much opportunity to really implement blockchain. One of the use case I am opening, a lot of frauds happens, right? ATM vicinity, I'll be able to click his photo and send that photo back to my blockchain and to see who has really entered at that time, who has opened the ATM to deposit the cash, right? How many minutes he was there around, what all activity he has done, and he has gone back, right? So this is one of the activity which we are doing on blockchain. So we might go live in a couple of months, and we'll be one of those first bank which we are implementing in-house use case. Then other banks will come out to the future. Wow, how you have done it, right? Let us be a part of this consortium and let's do it together. Then we'll write a paper and showcase it to NPCI. I think let's build on something together, right? So like this, we'll evolve use cases. I'll talk about one use case wherein what happens, say example, in the morning, what happens, all the ATMs, right? All the ATMs are being ordered to fill the cash. So as a bank, as a DCB bank, I have outsourced this cash dispenser or a cash putting activity to one of my partner called Euronet, for example. Euronet internally has outsourced that to somebody else, CMS, to manage those ATMs. What is that happens? It means that CMS guy will come to one of my branch, Chase branch. It's the branches in banking who are giving cash for ATMs are called as a Chase branch, Chase branch. Those branches are only allowed to dispense cash for that ATM. What does that happen? Basically, if you go to the branch, you withdraw cash, right? So that is being mapped to your savings account. Similarly, every ATM has an account in the core bank. So amount is dispatched to that account and physical cash is given to that guy. Now this guy, what he does now, instead of putting 10 lakh rupees, he's putting by mistake, putting how many? 9,99,000. 1,000 he has not put. And at the end of the day, when he comes back, he sees, oh my God, there are, I think 20,000 extra in my pocket. What will I do here, right? So what he will do, he will park it into another account and he will utilize it next day. But for that day, he will put in the Excel, every ATM I have filled in 10 lakh rupees. That's all. It's a fraud, right? It's not a fraud, but it is an operational error. And that report goes to my Euronet sends report to me. I upload that report in my core banking saying for this ATM 10 lakh rupees deposited and now 10 lakh rupees cash is also put into the ATM. But at the end of a year, when I reconcile everything, I find crores of rupees in my suspense account. If you talk about Bank of Baroda and SBI who are sitting on thousands of ATMs, you will find an issue, right? That's the issue. That's the issue. And that's the use case we are doing. So whenever somebody is putting cash into ATM, immediately a trigger. If this much cash being put, map that cash into against that account. If there is a difference, give a response back to the CMS guy. You are done. You are doing some mistake. Even if you do mistake, at the end of it, we will just consider only 9,90,000, 99,000. That's all. You are liable to pay extra 1,000 rupees. Smart system, right? Removal of man in middle and everything. Like that, if you come in my banking system and sit with me, I can give you 30, 40 plus use cases. NDA agreements, recruitment process, right? Or a field visit, where field visit, a lot of fraud happens on field visit while collection of those evidences. If this land belongs to me, give me loan against this land. Same land I will utilize for Axis Bank, ABC Bank, Kotak Bank, because these banks are not aligned on one chain. So that if I'm utilizing one land as a mortgage to take a loan, immediately another bank should know if I'm approaching that bank, I'm utilizing same mortgage. And he will give a trigger back to my bank if this customer is a fraudulent customer. So like that, banking is evolving, right? Banking is really evolving. And what is going to happen, the way I used to do my banking on branch, right? I used to be very happy on branch banking, internet banking, mobile banking. Typically, customer is moving on to the banking everywhere. They are not bothered about mobile banking app now. They are bothered about whether Google Pay is working or not, Phone Pay is working or not, right? Like this Phone Pay, Google Pay, you will find 10 more apps in the next 1-2 years. You will find some of the challenger banks, only digital only banks. No branches, no people, hardly 30 people who are managing complete bank. Like example, Atom Bank, 30, 40 people they have. They manage lakhs of customers. So what is going to happen out here in this scenario? Challenger banks will come with a challenging problem statement resolving some kind of solution, like banking for SME bank. Completely digital, completely on open banking, tied up with some ICICI bank, DCB bank or something, but complete interface is of that bank. And better experience. So why will I go to bank, ICICI bank or some other bank, right? But here, how do I really trust that challenger bank is really doing right transactions, data handling is doing rightly or not, all the Aadhaar, PAN is utilized properly or not? There comes a solution with the blockchain. Every transaction the challenger banks are doing has to be mapped with the core bank or the backend bank who is opening up their APIs. That's another use case which I am delivering for my bank. So we have API banking platform where we open up our APIs to the startups, fintechs, and so on. So every fintech who is utilizing my API, I know what they are doing. I'm logging. Tomorrow some dispute happens, like Prashant transaction has not gone. I know, I will catch hold that fintech. Yes, you had captured this transaction at your end and it is not there at mine. Because it's the complete transaction has not happened. So you should take care of that customer, not me. I will not pay for the customers. I think like that, many use cases will come. And I think some 2-3 use cases will drive banking, blockchain in banking. So typically what's going to happen? So when I was talking example of this reconciliation and how your banks are going to change. So typical problem statement in front of banks are like KYC AML. Like same customer goes to multiple banks and provides multiple KYC documents. So I am working with NSE to create a centralized KYC on blockchain. You do KYC with the Axis Bank and you have a number of your KYC number, you just present it to the other bank. KYC will be fetched by the other bank without asking you your documents, this and that. So I think Prashant, what we'll do now, the next time we'll meet up, we'll have a detailed dialogue and detailed presentation. Okay.
Sure. So, guys, do you have any Q&A since Prasanna is here? You could put your question in this session, and then we're gonna, again. So, I think Prasanna, there are no Q&A as such.
Yeah.
Let's see how it's gonna. So there's one question from Siddharth Shah that will the big corporation and the dominant banking economy will move, like this revolutionary technologies like fintech and these like DeFi. So what is the kind of impact it is going to have on the banking industry, and how there's going to be a shift of power from more of a centralized driven.
So banks will also. So banks have an opportunity to do more better than DeFi and fintechs because they don't have anything right. They will study it properly, create a right regulation, and will ask every bank to create your own or come onto this platform, which is a blockchain-based platform. This is our cryptocurrency for India, right? I think that kind of a model will arise over a period of few years, right? And more game is around. And if some of the DeFis would like to participate into this journey ethically, they will be most welcome, right? Some of the fintechs to participate into this journey. So it will be like a game of collaboration. It will not be just only to have only fintechs will be there, but it's a game of collaboration where everybody will participate into this exercise. So there is no threat to anybody. Moreover, there will be better banking in the future. So banks are understanding power of AI, blockchain, IoT, and so on. That's how we will see.
Okay, cool. And what is one of the biggest advantages you feel about DeFi or decentralized economy?
So no man in middle, no extra cost, no fees on the extra fees on ATM and POS, right? Why fees is being allocated for merchants, right, today? So that's a dispute, right? Why we are doing fees. So those kind of overheads will be resolved. Operations will be completely intact, and there will be no errors.
But don't you think it is going to have a big impact on the banks, businesses?
Yeah. So Prashant, I think I have to leave for some urgent work. Okay, and we'll touch base again, and we'll have a better session with all of our guys. And I'll call you in sometime. So let's see how we can arrange it. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay, guys. Take care and wish you everybody happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Stay safe. Take care, guys.